Okay, explain fine. You got a big delay in between your video and audio. Okay, we got it, Christian. Really loud.
Sounds like a Trump rally.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I guess we should switch over and officially kick things off. I'm just,
The music's pretty loud.
well, that's what happens when you get old, Mike.
I feel like I'm in a keynote.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Well, that's the idea, though. So. Well, hey, thanks for everybody for joining, and hang on, just making some adjustments. Something's going on with the screen there. Let me adjust this and see. There we go.
Something has occurred.
All right. Hey, good morning, everybody. This is the Microsoft Community Office Hours, and as always, we're here Monday morning, 8 a.m. Pacific.
It's 11 Eastern. It's 11 Eastern.
Yeah.
It is
It's 9
always
o'clock in
11 Eastern.
Tucson. Yay.
Yeah. Yep. And thanks for joining us. So we are going to take questions, anything live coming in. If you guys are monitoring, if you got email open, I don't because I have a lot of other stuff open. But you can send your questions to officehours@collabtalk.com, and we'll take those, and we'll take them all week long. But we are answering questions that were posted out to. Yes, I say that it's an offer, Mike. Not that it ever
I know,
happened.
but it sounds like you're a radio DJ. Hey, spinning your hits, taking your requests all week long.
Well, that's a great point. Well, Mike, this broadcast is brought to you by our great sponsor today, which is, of course, Monster brand caffeinated drinks. Excellent. Get the morning buzz. Start off the day by freaking out. There you go. Starbucks.
Speaking of
They need a free advertisement, Riz. They need that.
That's
right. Speaking of freaking out, we woke up to a bunch of snow on the ground this morning. That was awesome.
Oh, I saw pictures. Fantastic.
Yes.
That was Monday. Here in Salt Lake, that was Monday last week. We had a couple inches on the ground and melted off by midday, but it was 19 degrees on Monday, and on Saturday it was 65.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun, did a little drive this morning and took a turn and sort of reminded myself of what driving was all about as I'm sort of sideways hanging out down, it's fun.
It's exciting
No
stuff.
risk.
Yeah, no, it's all great. Good times.
He's one of those
It was a lot of fun, safety first, Mike.
Yeah. Well, so the way that we do this is we've got a bunch of questions that we've pulled in from some of the online community. So we pulled questions coming from the Office 365 and Teams community groups out on Facebook, and sometimes questions posted, unanswered questions to the Microsoft Tech community, and those, of course, that people send to us. I'm getting more and more now. Over the weekend, had two people point me to the questions that they posted out in one of the Facebook groups, saying, "Hey, did you see this? Have you had a chance to take a look at it?" So we'll address one of those two questions. The other one, I asked for more information, which they've not provided. That additional information to, like what product are you working with? Little things like that.
Little things like that.
You don't have that in the Googles. I'm very sorry.
All right, so let me open this up. And anyway, so homework. I don't think there was anything last week. I think we jokingly assigned some stuff to Mike.
Yeah.
But
Unless Sean's got something, when he shows up, we'll say, "Hey, what about your homework?" Even though he doesn't have any,
Yeah.
we'll just say,
Well,
He's also not showing up today. So.
that's right.
"Oh,
So so that is going to be a reflection. So that means that any homework assignments automatically get assigned to Sean. And yeah, because he actually did do a piece. He did follow up and did a blog post. And so I assumed he was going to talk about that, but we'll have to hold off and share that next week, maybe.
Okay.
So, all right, but with that, so Mike, you had something. What?
Are you talking about my thing?
Yeah, that's what I was
That's no. If you're going to intro it, then please do.
No, you killed it. You buzz killed it. So.
All right. So something really wild and crazy happened over the weekend with Exchange Online. I don't know if anybody heard about this, but they have enabled plus addressing. Does anybody know what plus addressing is? Don't all chime in.
That would be a no.
Right.
No. Yeah.
So I was learning, Mike.
Yeah, so something that has been a feature of Google Gmail for many, many years has been the ability to use your email address. Say you had, johndoe@gmail.com. You could do John Doe plus this subscription list at gmail.com and using the plus symbol. And it would send to your original, it acts somewhat like an alias. It's not an alias, but it acts like an alias. But it's an alias is a permanent thing. It actually attaches to your ID, where a plus address isn't actually a permanent thing. So you can use it on fly for just about anything. Now, Exchange Online over the weekend has implemented this. It actually rolled in September, but folks actually started working with it this weekend, and Microsoft released their blog post on it, which I'll put into the chat here. Right there. So right now, if you go in and you enable plus addressing via PowerShell, you can't do it via the UI or the admin console. If you do it via PowerShell, then you can go ahead and put in John Doe plus, signed up for some service. You say John Doe plus, Amazon at whatever.com. That way, all of that mail will go to your, Amazon knows that address. It'll go to your, regular. So it's really kind of convenient when you're signing up for stuff and using stuff, because you don't have to give out that specific email address to everyone. And it's a feature a lot of people have been waiting a long time for, especially Microsoft people. Microsoft people are just tired of using their Microsoft.com addresses because they get a lot of spam. So that's really cool. Check it out. One caution: if Exchange Online has always offered the ability to use the plus symbol in email addresses. So if you were on-premises Exchange or hybrid Exchange and you had something set up that actually had a plus symbol in the address, if you implement this, that will break. So that account will break. So you want to go and make sure you don't have any addresses with the plus symbol if you enable this. If you do, you have to change that address.
Cool. You'll have to take a look at that. I shared out the link in the multiple locations that we're live streaming on.
Okay.
And so do you have a blog or anything on that, Mike? Are you going to do any other content?
No, sir. It just happened this weekend. So I just found out about it. The Microsoft folks, I noticed that there was 5 or 6 Microsoft folks that I follow on Twitter, and they started talking about it because they got notified that Microsoft had enabled it for all internal accounts, and they were like, "Yay!" freaking out, So no real time to do that, sir. Sorry.
There's it's funny, and we've talked about this a number of times, of just the cadence of the release of news. And there's no big moment. Stuff just trickles. It comes out constantly. Something I just saw over the last few days was the new project and project roadmap apps in Teams. So that announcement went out. And of course, roadmap has been out there. You've been able to go out and provide a URL or link over as a tab within Teams for the roadmap capability. And I'm actually kicking off a video series this month with fellow MVP Mario Trenton, where we're going to go dig through. Of course, my phone just activated for some reason back behind me, but yeah.
Hey Siri, order coffee.
I don't have any presets for that, so. But
yeah.
Hey Siri, order pizza.
Yeah. So, don't listen.
Hey, it came up on my phone.
I'm excited. It's almost lunchtime here. I'm set.
Yeah. But
hey, who's got Alexa? Hey Alexa.
Yeah.
Order Christian 10 pizzas.
No. So I'm just going to mute you.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Alexa, stop.
Yeah. So
I added it to your Amazon cart.
yeah. So when one click ordering bites you in the butt.
Now I got to get it out of my cart.
Yeah, there needs to. It's funny. Where is it now? I've got like that Bluetooth button that they handed out at some. I think it was one of the MVP events, and most people have the little button, Bluetooth button, rigged for like lights outside their home office, so people don't enter while recordings are going on. And what I want is a mute button for all of those tools. I want to go build that automation. Click and unclick that when to turn Alexa and Siri's and everybody off. No, but to finish the statement is that around the project and Project Online and the roadmap, now that the apps are available within Teams. So I'll just remind people that you have to have Project and roadmap, the licensing to be able to utilize those apps. Otherwise, you can see the apps, you can try and add it. It will not find any roadmaps or projects because you don't have the appropriate license, and then there's nothing to see there. But I'm going to be blogging about that and sharing that out there. And for those that are new to this as well, we have all of the recordings of every session. This is, by the way, guys, episode 33. We've been doing this for 33 weeks. So that's exciting. But the recordings are shared up. So on the Collab Talk YouTube page, you can go and find those. And there's a link list of every topic that we cover. So you don't have to watch all 90 minutes. You can actually just jump to the topic. And then it's also out on my blog at buckleyplanet.com. And you can see all of that. And I share it out through all the various social networks. Blah, blah, blah. Anything else going on? Anything else, Hal or Eric, that you guys want to talk about?
No.
All right. That's the passion. That's the passion.
Things I want to talk about.
Oh, well, yeah.
Not all of them are really for this audience.
Relevant.
I do, however, I see that we just got an email live and in person, which is very exciting.
Oh, okay.
So we have an Outlook issue that someone's calling out.
All right. Do you want to kick us off with this question?
Well, yeah, sure. Congratulations to Mohamed H. Zaki. You win the signed Christian Buckley T-shirt. Now the question is, hello team, I had this issue with my users that report the what's new button. See screenshot is grayed out. And he fixed also, is there a way I can join the Teams meeting instead of Facebook? I cannot post comments on Facebook.
So no. This is kind of a closed circuit. It's not open to the public, but yeah, there's multiple places that you can post questions if you're not able to, because you should be able to in Facebook. Click into the live stream and the comments are turned on. So we've got people watching, and you can go and comment there. But as well, we're also monitoring via Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So all those places you can post your questions. But I don't know if anybody's experienced that with the grayed out what's new button.
I have not. I noticed we're on current channel. But it's happening to all users. I would look at it. Hal, do you know if there's a setting for a policy to turn?
Not that I'm aware of as a policy, but I am on the Inside the Past channel, and the What's New button being grayed out and then working and then being grayed out is something I've seen fairly uniformly. So it's something, I don't know why it happens, but it is something I have certainly seen more than once, and it always comes back. Generally with the next update.
We talked about that last week about where I was fretting over the missing record button or the option in the menu here in Teams, how that was disappearing, and I actually I left Teams and logged back in, and then it was there but grayed out. logged out, logged back in, and then it was there. The record button was there. And I suspect that it's a similar problem where there's just an update that's happening that's impacted that feature, and you wait a little while, and it may reappear. Try logging out and in it a couple times. I don't know. There could be something else that's happening, but generally, when you're talking about a feature, when you're talking about a menu option, that's what's going on. Versus there's some other technical glitch within the matrix.
Now, do you know if it refreshes its status? Like if you were to look at it, the button is there. You can push on it, click it, you see what's new, and then you log out, log back in. Will it refresh itself and show you what's new again, or will it turn itself off?
No, it stays lit. It stays lit. The what's new button is, as long as it's lit up, will always show you what's new. You can hit it as many times as you want, log out, log back in, and so forth. It's sort of interesting thinking about that. I'm on, like I say, the Inside the Fast channel. That means I'm a month or so ahead of what the monthly release channel might be, or perhaps a little more than that. So it seems kind of interesting that my button disappeared a couple of, I guess it's been a month or two ago, and came back. I'm wondering if maybe that was just something they didn't catch. I don't know. I'll have to look into that. I can certainly ask.
Okay. All right. All right, so should we jump to question number 1 on the list? Any other topics? All right. Okay. Sherilyn asked, so this was posted out to the Office 365 community group on Facebook. Sherilyn says, this may not be an Office 365 community type of question, but here's a shot. I've always had a small company, so when someone new starts, I just get them a laptop and they essentially set it up and use it at their own. Now that my company continues to expand and the hires aren't so close to me, I need like a kill switch. That's a positive way of referring to it, Sherilyn. Or something where I can shut a computer down remotely, access email if someone just falls off the face of the earth, etc. So thoughts on that?
Intune. So they need Intune. Intune will do exactly that. You can actually do, and I very successfully have done it many times, doing remote installs, rebuilding OS using Intune. So that's her answer right there. She should look into that.
Agreed.
Yeah, something else, one of the newer capabilities is the mobile device management capabilities. So remember a few years ago we were talking about the only way to really manage that activity is for companies to hand out the approved device. Here's the device. Anything that you use is the work device. And now it can be done remotely. So anything that's work related in those systems, somebody leaves the company, you can remotely wipe that information on their personal device. So you just have that container, that space within their personal device, and let them continue using their own. What are you laughing at, Eric? Why is that funny? Doing compliance and security, that you find that funny?
I'm laughing because Mohammed Zaki said responded to and asked for a specific size T-shirt.
Riz, that's all on Riz. That's all on Riz, man.
I have no T-shirts.
Buckley has the official Eric Riz T-shirt. I haven't seen him wear it yet for the show, but he does have it.
It's because it has been moved. Oh, that's a great question. Because it's been moved to the branded T-shirt bag, the pile, for the next quilt.
I feel I love that.
To immortalize it in the next share quilt? What are you talking about?
I guess it's possible.
Yeah.
I need something for my dog's bed.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lay down. My dog
It was a nice T-shirt. We have pictures of him wearing it.
Yeah, Mohammed. Unfortunately, I do not have any. I do not have any T-shirts to give out. Thankfully, at our SharePoint Saturday or Microsoft 365 Friday event last year. Was that last year? This year? It's all the same. It was this year, this calendar year. In February, I was able to unload 100% of my T-shirts that I had from various events that I helped produce, but got rid of all those shirts, including the last of my SharePoint shirts. Share CHER point shirts. But what I do have are stickers. So Mohamed, if you want to DM me and send me your mailing address, I can send you some stickers. People love stickers.
Well, they don't like them anymore because nobody can see them. So like you put stickers on your laptops and stuff, and people, that was a big thing. You'd sit there and bring the shows, and people would be like, "Oh, look at all the stickers! Oh, I want that sticker! I want that sticker!" Well, now nobody sees them.
See, stickers for me has always been, for my own personal satisfaction. I don't care what other people think about my stickers. So
I've got a drawer full that I never use. I mean, I put them in a bag. I hate the concept of putting stickers on my equipment and stuff, but I got a drawer full of that stuff.
Well, I have my AV suitcase, my travel hard case, audio-visual equipment suitcase, and Riz, you've seen it, right? Oh yeah, I've got some of those as well.
Yes.
And so it's while you guys are in the next issue or the next topic here, while you guys are talking, I'll go roll it out of the closet over on the side and show you what I have going on. But
I've got a whole stack. Okay, if you want these stickers, let me know.
Those are pretty
I've got some SharePoint and some Yammer as well.
nice.
If anybody wants those, just send us an email.
If anybody wants Yammer, really? No.
Mike just doesn't like to work out loud.
That's right.
Sorry.
Exactly. Oh, it's the haters gotta hate. All right, so let's jump to question number 2. And feel free, if you're watching the live streams, one of the locations, if you have questions about Microsoft products or services, then feel free to post your questions, and we will attempt to tackle them. I will say that in this list, I don't know if you guys read through them all, and the questions that I pulled together last night, there is a trick question. And the trick question, of course, is unified communications related that none of us will be able to answer. But we'll come to that. All right.
We can try to answer it. It may not be right, but we can try to answer it.
Yeah, we always do, or sometimes do. All right, number 2, Zlep 92. All right, so I love the personal names, the monikers out here. How does an external member save a site to their SharePoint? I have shared a site with an external member, and they receive the email link and can view the site. But when they close it, the only way to get back to the site is by finding the email and clicking on the link. How do you save an external site so it's part of your list of sites in SharePoint?
Doesn't SharePoint still have the paper? The paper page, or is that what it is now? I don't remember. It used to have a little paper thing in the right, excuse me, in the right-hand corner. You could just click, and that would pin it on your SharePoint homepage. I don't know. Is it?
Yeah, so that is still there, and yes, that's what you can do. That so essentially bookmark it and have it there.
Pull that one out of there. That's it.
So it's the rest of it, the way that he's described it, it's working as designed, and so if you're an external user in that, you're having guest access to that environment. Now, if you've been added in, you should have access to whatever that space is. If you're working within Teams or within SharePoint, and you're added as an external user, you should have access to that site, and then as Mike outlines, is bookmark it or save that to that list app. Hal's kicking back.
Hal's having a rough day over there.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's exactly right. So it's I'm not sure, and I don't have it open to go and play with it. But is there I don't know anything else that you'd add to that, Eric?
No, that sounds all right.
Yeah. I do the same thing where people will invite me invite me to different locations, and sometimes I don't go in and save that location, and so I reference that email, and if it's someplace you're going to be frequently working, and bookmark that, or yeah. Okay.
So before we go on, may I say something?
Yes.
No.
Just wanted to say that really saddened this weekend of the passing of the great Sir Sean Connery.
Oh yeah.
Indeed. The only Bond.
He was so much more than Bond. They keep referring to him around Bond, but he was so much more than Bond.
To be sure, but that was his best.
Yeah, I don't know. The Hunt for Red October was one of the greatest movies I've ever seen.
Yeah.
His acting was incredible.
Yep. Yeah, that's part of my teen years, going and seeing the various James Bond movies. Now I have my personal. I think he's the second best Bond, personally.
You think Pierce?
What? No.
Not Roger.
Who's your first?
Who's your first?
The new one.
No.
I think he's fantastic.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That's it.
Sean Connery was the best one. There's no way.
Yeah. See, I like the gritty, more realistic, the slightly edgy, could be somewhat crazy, a little bit psychopathic. What's his name? Yeah, because I'm bad with names.
Can't be that good.
Yeah.
What are we all Googling right now? Like, what? We don't remember his name?
No, because I'm terrible with names.
He's Googling. You gotta wait for him to Google.
Daniel Craig would be the current Bond.
Yes.
Daniel Craig.
He's pretty good.
See, I like Daniel Craig.
Oh, Chris.
Pierce Brosnan, come on. He was like 10, 15 years too late.
It had to be Pierce.
Yeah, no.
You know,
No, look, he's my second favorite. Sean Connery's my second favorite there. But honestly, I think of him as his number one role for me was as the king in the movie Time Bandits. So, dropping the mic there.
I liked him in Outland. And what he was in Highlander too. That was a good one.
Yeah, he was also in one of the early Greek movies. Not like a Spartacus or something like that. It was a Romans movie. I can't remember. Anyway, moving on.
I have to share this. Hang on. Yeah, there we go. That's how we want to remember him.
Jesus.
So for those that are unfamiliar, Christian has a lot of time on his hands.
Yeah.
And
sense of humor is really skewed.
Yeah. All right.
Not all of us condone sharing a set images.
Question number 3. All right. Anthony has got a bit of a problem due to the COVID situation. What situation is that, Anthony?
What is that?
Yeah.
Could you elaborate on that for us, please?
All of our designers have had to work from home. That's shocking. So to aid that, we've synced 1.2 terabytes of files with OneDrive, which has a 5 terabyte limit. But due to version history on the OneDrive, the storage has met its limit. Is there anything I can do to fix the issue? I can't seem to turn version history off.
No, you cannot turn version history off, number one. And number two, you can always buy more drive space.
Yeah.
Microsoft will sell you up to 50, I think it's 50 gig now, or 100 gig of drive space on OneDrive. So, yeah.
Well, I know that there was some discussion about the problem with using your SharePoint versus OneDrive. And the problem with SharePoint is that it's that shared limit across the users versus the OneDrive. But it's so that would be my first answer. It's like if you're using that's a solution that you have figured out the best way to use the technology for your organization, but you need more storage, buy more storage.
Yeah, I think they sell it in 50 and 100 gig blocks or something. I don't remember. You'd have to look it up. But the same thing is that even from a design, I don't know what he means by designers. Okay, so I'm just guessing at this. But if you don't need the version control, if you need, maybe you should be looking at something that's actually got version control. Something that is suited more for what you're trying to do. Maybe, if you're just storing flat files and you don't care about version control, then maybe OneDrive's not the solution. If you don't want to pay for more storage, I don't know. Maybe you should be using Azure FileSphere.
Well, but that's also why if it's designers, if it's people that are doing just a lot of digital assets, design assets, that's why you have digital asset management solutions that are outside of Office 365. So you're utilizing, like, the default is to have the versioning on for obvious reasons why you want to have that protection in place. But for digital assets, there's a lot of organizations. I know that people, it's verboten to say this, but why you use other third-party cloud storage solutions where that's turned off, that are dedicated for that, or if it's enough to have a digital asset management solution, it's a damn solution. Get yourself a damn solution. And that might be the best way to resolve it long term. If this is a temporary fix, buy more storage.
Yeah, nobody really knows temporary-wise. I mean, COVID, right? Who knows how long temporary is going to be? But you have to look at it from a business aspect too. You're going to pay for more storage. So either you pay for more storage or you start investigating another solution.
Yep. All right. The next one. So here is Nini, who messaged me, asked me to take a look at this. So this is one of those questions. Morning, fellow changemakers. Starting Saturday morning with looking at data in Microsoft Analytics around emails. I would like to get a clear picture of the time spent in the activity and user numbers, aka hours spent on reading emails. I think this report only counts the entering the point of the specific activity. I'm learning and do not use Power BI yet, and not sure the data set holds this info anyways. Do you know?
We had a meeting about this last week,
Yep.
or similar to this last week. And it was a matter of the data's there, you just have to be able to know how to extract it from 365. So you can, via APIs and via PowerShell, and via Power BI. I know you don't know Power BI. Power BI is not that hard to learn if you're just using a wizard to extract the data. And the Power BI does have an Office 365 wizard that will bring that data into it. They work together like this. You need to visualize that data. You can bring it in raw, but then you need to visualize it.
Yeah.
And if you don't know how to take that raw data and visualize it yourself, I personally would recommend Power BI because to me it's very simple to use to do that.
Yeah, but that's the presentation layer. I mean, the hard part of this is what you glossed over there, but not that you're glossing over, but it's pulling the data down from the Microsoft Graph and getting access to that data, and then cleaning that up and configuring that so that you can build those visualizations in Power BI. So, but you're exactly right. I mean, the data is there; it's out there. There are third-party solutions. There are analytic solutions. They're a partner and a client. tyGraph has built a lot of these analytics. It's one of the, if you're not familiar with tyGraph, go take a look. You can try for free for 2 weeks all of their products, but that'll give you that level of granularity that you're looking for. But that Or if you want to go build it yourself, if that's how you want to spend your time, your week, your next 3 months building that out, you can go and do that. But you're right. It's all there in the graph, and then pull it down, and then you can build those dashboards however you'd like. Now there are other tools. Microsoft is getting better at things, but it's, I think, the same problem. Like you just saw the Jared Spataro announcement around the general availability of the productivity score is another example of that high level organization view, but it doesn't provide that deep dive of granularity. It's great to see the score and we're trending this direction, but if you then want to drill in and look at the specifics of usage, it's not going to give you that data either.
Yeah.
Any other partner solutions? Anything else that you guys are familiar with out there?
I haven't used any. I don't know if you guys have anything.
I'm a tyGraph guy personally, and I could go on for a long time about the productivity score and its use and actual functional use in organizations. I mean, most people tap into it, they realize they've got 10 out of 430 or something, and they realize they may have a problem, but they also realize that they haven't looked at it until now, and they have no issues in the organization that they're aware of. They're just going to sort of leave it over here for a while until it rears its ugly head. So I can go on for a while about governance and getting the score up and what needs to actually happen in order to do that, but it's only an hour and a half show. So.
Yeah, it's a the productivity score is a good directionally correct. Like which direction are we moving? Get an overall sense. But for people that are looking to dive into the that level of granularity, then the strategies around it. Now it does provide some guidance, some action plan items, and so I don't want to knock it as not providing value and benefit there, but for what she's describing and the level of granularity that I know most customers that I've talked to and why they go with these other more deep dive third-party solutions is to get that level of granularity that they just can't get through the automated tools and through the dashboards. So, but I would start there with tyGraph. Go take a look at that. All right.
As mentioned, just a word to the wise. As mentioned, they will give you two weeks free to test out and try their products, and you should be using those 2 weeks wisely. You don't want to reach out and hit the start button unless you're ready to go. You know where your data is. You know what you want to be analyzing, and what analytics are going to be meaningful to your organization.
Yep. Well, the other thing I should point out too is that one cool thing about that is you go into the tygraph.com website and select the try it for free, connect your data. Any one of the tools there, it will go in and harvest the data. It can take about 24 hours for it to go and pull that in, because it's pulling in Office 365, Microsoft 365 stores 26 days of data. So it's not like you're starting the analytics and then you have to start tracking from there. It'll actually go and pull 26 days of history and then track for another. So you're essentially getting 6 weeks of data at the end of that 2-week trial. Worth noting. All right, number 5, Dilawar says, hello champions, need your advice on a robust Office 365 monitoring tool. Please let me know something that should cover SharePoint Online, Teams, and OneDrive for Business. I didn't realize that it's like I grabbed those two questions, but kind of the same answer.
Well, only if we assume that they're talking about monitoring in the same way. Yeah,
right.
They're pretty. Please see above if that's the answer. Or if not, please clarify so we can get you a better answer.
Yeah. Otherwise, you take a look at that's what I'd say that the high level monitoring, that level of monitoring, you can do that within the respective consoles. Or if you're talking about, I mean, when you're saying monitoring, are you looking at other operations monitoring, ticketing problems with the system? I mean, there's a lot of just operational monitoring. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you also have the built-in capabilities between 365 and Azure.
Right.
So inside of Azure, going in and using Monitor inside of there and bringing the data in from 365 and using log analytics. That's you're gaining more insight because 365 is in Azure. I mean, it's a component of Azure. So.
Yeah, and if you're talking about, and I know that there are other partner solutions that are looking at multi-tenant monitoring as well. So looking at the health of multiple domains across each of those services.
You can do that with Lighthouse.
Right. And we talked about that last week a little bit. Maybe you describe that a little bit, Mike?
Yeah, so Azure Lighthouse allows you to look at multiple tenants within a single frame, if you will, or, it gives you the ability to see multiple tenants inside of multiples. So it's really meant for service providers and, the folks, bars and things that work with multiple accounts that have tenants inside of 365 or in Azure, if you will. But it's more focused on the resources inside of Azure, not so much just 365. It's focused on everything, the resource groups and the VMs and whatever else they're running in Azure. From a 365 perspective, Lighthouse doesn't give them that full view. So if they want 365, then you're probably going third party on that. Doesn't AppPoint, not AppPoint, there's somebody else that had a monitoring for 365. I don't remember the name of the company though.
Yeah, I know that. I know this is an area that Sean has talked and written about. So we don't have Sean here, and Neil is also he's here somewhere in the state of Utah. He's in my neck of the woods, but he's not yet called. We're supposed to grab lunch or dinner or something. In a safe manner, folks. Don't freak out. We'll be safe.
Yeah. Safe manner. Oh, now I just remembered it was Netrix. So there was two companies that I had worked with a long time ago, and they're still around. One was called Thousand Eyes. Thousand Eyes is really kind of cool. It was actually going to be purchased. Originally was going to be purchased by Citrix, but Citrix didn't buy it. But they do a lot of 365 monitoring. It's pretty cool.
Okay. All right. So number 6, question about encryption. This is from, I think it's pronounced Kaylee. Does somebody else want to differ there? But I think that's the pronunciation.
My last name's Forrest.
Yeah, there you go. C. Forrest.
I think we just broke all of our privacy.
Yeah. So I have a question about encryption. Well, they posted it out to Facebook. Come on, Eric. There's no privacy there.
Yeah.
So I have a question about encryption. I have a VPN on my new laptop that runs Office 10. However, now I work a lot from home. And dealing with my agency's OneDrive on my computer. I used to use the browser version, but someone said I can have it on my computer so I can download certain items and upload them again. Or you can have that hybrid so that's both locations there. And let's see, blah, blah, blah. So some said I can have it on my computer so I can download certain items, which I can't save from one website to another browser version of a problem. So for instance, I have to work with confidential client information. I receive requests from various entities, download them to a folder within my agency's OneDrive on my computer because I can't save anything on the browser version. I thought this is safe, but it isn't even with the VPN. I do not have Office 365 installed on my computer. I just used a browser version on that. So is there a way I can keep this data more secure on my personal computer? I thought that the OneDrive for my agency was helping to do that, but I understand I might be leaving a trail of client data on my computer, which I do not want. I need to be able to work from home, so try to figure out a safe way to do this.
You forgot the ugh and the sigh.
Oh, yeah. Ugh, sigh. There we go.
Well, I'm kind of perplexed by this question because, number one, doesn't OneDrive come in default? You don't understand now? So, I mean, when you boot up Windows 10, OneDrive is sitting there, right? By default? I thought it's part of 10 now?
I believe that is correct.
Okay. I think it is because every time I do an install on a VM or something, OneDrive is always sitting in the taskbar waiting to be put an email address and waiting to be connected. So to say that, you have it on local on your computer, yes, you should. If you have Windows 10, you should have it on your computer. If you don't, then maybe the sysadmins took it off for some reason. I don't know why. But you can always go out to OneDrive and download bits for it. As to having the information, one thing people have to understand is that with OneDrive, you're not actually saving. We talked about this last week. When you save something in OneDrive, it's actually not saving directly to OneDrive. It saves to a cache. Okay, so if you are working on your computer and you click on save on file, and the destination is OneDrive, it saves to a cache on your computer. And then it goes and sends it up to OneDrive out in the cloud. All right? Now, the only way that you can really secure that information is once it leaves your computer, you don't have a lot of control over it unless you're going directly to, a corporate identity or something with a VPN. Okay, when you're going up 365, you don't have a VPN. You don't have, unless you want to set that up. You can certainly set that up in a home office. If you have a router at home, you can set up a private point VPN into Azure, but you can't do it directly to OneDrive. There's no way to set up a VPN to OneDrive. The thing that I would recommend in order to make sure that what he's got on his computer, if he has things on his computer and he's paranoid about it, is to enable BitLocker. Enable BitLocker on that drive, without a doubt. And that will make sure that anything that's on that drive will be encrypted. Okay. Second, we need to find out, I don't think, and I don't know this, guys, maybe you do. Is the transmission of files going to OneDrive, is that actually encrypted by default? Or is that just open air? I don't know. I don't know that. And that's something
I don't either, but I think it's encrypted.
I would assume it would be, it would have to be under some encrypted protocol if it's not just plain HTTPS, or if it's, I have no idea. But then you've actually eliminated your local computer because it's encrypted. The data that's leaving your computer, if in fact it is encrypted, if you're pulling data down from OneDrive, then it in fact encrypted. You're pretty much covered. I mean, I understand you don't want that data locally on your machine. The problem is that everything, I shouldn't say everything, a lot of what Windows 10 does today is cached. So you always have some kind of remnants of what you're doing on that drive in some kind of folder somewhere, cached or otherwise. That's my opinion. I don't know if you guys have something.
Yeah, so I've got a link here which goes through kind of high level, all the levels of security around this. And again, to go through like the specifics of how they've set it up and using that. So it says like here, this statement here, protected in transit and at rest. In transit, when data transmits into the service from clients and between data centers, is protected using TLS, transport layer security encryption. Hey, there's Sean. We only permit secure access.
Push the button. These have to be unanimous, guys. Come on.
But, we won't allow authenticated connections over HTTP.
I pushed the button, friend.
Yeah. So, hey, Sean, this is a question. Maybe you could jump in on this. So this was question number 6 from Kaylee asking about how OneDrive, so this person doesn't have Office 365, but whether OneDrive is encrypted and is concerned about having what should be secure, encrypted client information synced via OneDrive. Mike was just talking about how it's actually making changes and saving to cache. Well,
I know everything's going to be going over HTTPS, so you got SSL on the transport. As far as being saved, every item in OneDrive actually has a separate symmetric encryption key associated with it. Now, the whole cache thing, I don't know if it's actually encrypted in the cache.
That's why I was saying they should probably implement BitLocker.
Yeah, that'll definitely, anything on the disk will end up that way. But I don't know about memory. Some people are concerned about memory. I mean, the likelihood of a memory read is
very unlikely.
Yeah. But for those people who require total end-to-end encryption and protection, I can't say that what's in the memory is encrypted. So, but the BitLocker, like Mike said, that'll definitely cover the disk. So. Oh. Yeah.
With Sean here now, I can also enable Together mode, so now we're streaming in Together mode.
We're going to do that to people.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we are.
Little things, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah. So, yeah. Anything else to add to that, or? Yeah.
No. Besides, I mean, Sean, just so you know, Christian thinks that the new Bond guy is the coolest guy, and not Sean Connery.
It's Daniel Craig. Say his name. Use your words, Mike.
No, I won't, because Sean Connery, you can't even. It doesn't even come close.
Sean, we had a moment of silence for Sean Connery, and then everything went sideways from there. Seems to be some disagreement amongst the members here.
I want to hear Sean's.
I know.
take on it.
Little known fact that Sean's parents named him after Sean Connery. Who knew?
So without tampering with the jury here, Sean, and only Sean, who do you feel is the best Bond?
Daniel Craig.
I am fond of Sean Connery.
He's a Roger Moore fan.
I will say that I think Pierce Brosnan is the worst
Agreed.
James Bond. I can't pick a best, but worst would have to be Pierce Brosnan.
He might have been good 20 years earlier, but I agree.
He's only 25, Christian.
He's the Dorian Gray. Is that what you're saying?
Something like that. Yeah.
I like Buckley. I like how you don't commit. He might have been good 20 years earlier. It's just like,
Well,
anything is possible. He could have been good.
Well, you know the whole story, don't you? Where he was doing Remington Steel and couldn't get out of there's the contract, couldn't go over. They wanted him, and so he couldn't do it. And so by the time he made it over, was out of that contract and was able to do it, he was too old for the role.
How do you know so much about this?
Because I live in the present. I live in the now, Mike. I read. Come on. No, just
Now, while we're on the subject of now, did everyone vote? Everyone vote?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone voted? Good.
All right.
Of course.
Well played, gentlemen.
All right.
Vote early, vote often.
Now we just sit back and, regardless of our votes, and we'll sit back and watch the chaos ensue.
Yeah, that's I voted 2 months ago actually. I mean, they sent out our absentees like 2 months ago, and I can follow my ballot, right? So I know it got counted.
Does it change along the way?
Yeah, well, it showed the points. I went from the clerk, to
I track all of the votes that I did for all of the people.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure it got there, and it actually got counted, because
I actually drove mine and my wife's to the Board of Elections, and they they have a Dropbox, but when I pulled in, and this I was very early, like you, Mike. They had people outside. They had police. They actually had a drive-through where you drop your things in. I'm like, wow.
Was someone holding the box like this?
No. And I didn't even see them pull one of the boats out and burn them or anything like that. So
Yeah. So I got to tell you guys, though, I mean, almost bought some Kevlar, getting ready for the next couple days, because I think things are gonna get kind of crazy here.
yeah, city burnings.
We've got a good vantage point up here in Canada. We just,
Marshmallows.
To show my true Canadiana, I will be sitting in front of the television on Tuesday night, tomorrow night, in full goalie gear. That's ice hockey. Mask, pads, whole thing.
Well, it's not a bad choice of gear for dealing with us.
All I know is that I feel left out. Like, all the good looting happens for those that are there early. So I want to be on top of it because I need some new sneakers. So
You need those Yeezys.
I feel like
5-inch TV.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got to tell you, though, Riz, a statement made by one of your, I don't know, cabinet people or whoever they are. I don't know what you got up there, Parliament or whatever. Well, I'm sorry, Canadians.
Let's just be very clear here. I may live here, but I too voted in the U.S. election.
Oh, I thought you were Canadian.
I think half of the Canadians voted in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Our 51st state.
Now I'm native Canadian. You're really getting into trouble here, Mike.
Okay. Just scratch.
Anyway, yes, one of our parliamentarians. Yes.
The point I'm trying to make is that they made a statement, and they said that they were not going to be ready for the influx of, and I quote, unquote, quote, refugees, unquote, from the America.
This happened in 2016 as well, and I was in Seattle because MVP Summit was that week.
Yep.
We're there. And then it was a great week. But I remember being in the hotel at the Hyatt, and there was a Republican party, some sort of party in one of the ballrooms, and they were just going ballistic. And everybody who knew me, because there were some people that I recognized at the party, kept coming over to me saying, "This is so great, this is so great." And the following day, all the Democrats found me and said, "I'm coming to Canada. I'm coming to Canada. Can I come back with you?"
I heard that.
We were at the MVP Summit when the announcement.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that it was.
Good times.
I was just recovering from back surgery right then, so I was that was the summit. I was riding around in the little motorized golf cart.
Yeah, I got a call. I got a call in the morning. My wife was like, "You don't want to hear the news." Okay. I'm out here in California. I don't know what to do.
Well, that's all great stuff. Let's move on to important topics.
Sorry.
Another question from Sherilyn.
Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Sorry, my fault.
Sherilyn says, so user doesn't have an option to accept a new meeting invite. It just says, no response required. What settings should I check? And this is in Outlook.
This has something to do with the invitation itself. I've had that happen. For example, for the product group interactions that we had, that they don't send me an invite in the email, and they have it posted just as a post in Yammer. When I attempt to download or open those, I get the same response, no response required. It won't save, and the only way I can do that is to basically take the invite and save it, add it to the calendar myself manually. And I don't know why that is, but it's something to do with the way that the way the invitation is crafted as to people being invited or not invited. I think that's got something to do with it. I didn't research it much beyond that, because that happens pretty infrequently for me.
Well, not to be confused with the issue where you've already accepted an invite and there's an update to the calendar and you get a notification that a change has happened. In that case, there wouldn't be something to re-accept.
Right.
I've only seen it in that instance.
Or, I mean, I've seen what Hal's described, where it's coming from a different source. I get an email, but there's no calendar invite, where I have to actually take that external to Outlook invitation and drag and drop it down to the calendar tab at the bottom of Outlook to open and then set my own meeting. Set my own calendar item.
Mike, you might as well just tell us next time. All of our heads go.
All right, sorry. Yeah, gotta go. See you later, guys.
Right.
See you next week.
See you later, Mike.
Take care.
Enjoy. Take care.
Take care, Mike.
Just has to add to the drama by texting us all, sticking in the comments section. But again,
It's funny to watch all of our heads go.
Exactly.
use your words. Yeah, so hopefully that's helpful. So why that happens. I mean, it could be, again, this is one of those things where if we were talking with Sherilyn, we'd ask a few other probing questions about what exactly she's seeing. This screenshot, it might be one of the scenarios we've just described. So if we have not accurately described the solution, Sherilyn, please, more information or a screenshot of that. Describe the steps that you're going through.
Yeah, that would help.
All right, number 8, Daniel says, I have a Word file in Office 365 that has an Excel file inside. And when I try to open the Excel file on my Windows 10 computer, I get an error that says cannot find server application, source file, or item. If I copy that file and open in another computer with Office 365, the Excel file that is contained in the Word file opens perfectly. I try to repair Office and get the same error. I delete Office and install it again, and the error persists. What can I do other than install the entire operating system again? Any ideas? Well, that has... So there's something to do with that computer. So it's the same file, that same Word doc, yet in one computer, like on your laptop, it opens up the Excel file that's embedded, but on the desktop, it's not opening. So there's some connectivity issue between the two locations.
Where's the source file sitting?
Don't know that information, where it is, other than the same person opening that Word doc in the Excel file in two different locations. It opens in one location and not in the other. Is it my first thought is one a work laptop where it's working and the other one is home, or vice versa? Because there could be a block list, a white list, for the domain.
Sure.
Sounds like it's coming out of 365 somewhere. But if he's opening it, how is it being transferred between the two environments? He's opening it on a separate laptop from the USB. It may be routed to USB, and therefore it's accurate. And it picks it up properly. If he has a second, he or she, I didn't hear it, sorry, but
Daniel,
if you've got a second user account on that machine, try that, see if it's something in your user account.
Yeah.
There's an answer article that pretty much describes that whole thing. And the person responding says, here's what fixes it for. Copy the contents of the original Word document created in the earlier version of Word into the new Word document of Office 2016 Word, saving the document as a .x, deleted the embedded Excel table, recreated the Excel table. Click outside the Excel table, click inside the area of the Excel table once more, then right click, choose Worksheet Object, choose Convert, Open. Choose Open Document Spreadsheet, and click OK. This is a bunch. Nevertheless, I'm going to put this in the chat. There's another one that indicates that they did a registry fix that solved the problem.
And all of that, if you're using one of those stand-up desks, all of that, if you're actually standing on your right foot, I found really helps. If you're on both feet, it's fine.
I found it's kind of like when you're driving and you need to hold your breath and hold the roof of the ceiling of the vehicle when you go through a tunnel. That might also help.
Yeah, I'm convertible. So it's right for it's tough.
No, but my first thought too is there a difference between the desktop versus browser version of Word? I mean, again, those are some of the steps that I would go through to troubleshoot. I do the same thing, open up different profiles in a couple different locations, why that's happening. Again, there's some, routing, some permissions issue that is keeping you from opening it within that location. I don't know that, again, you can go through, maybe it's a bug that it should open from that location.
But if you're using the same account, you could also go and try an private browser as well. Log in, try. I mean, there's 100 different ways you can try to debug this thing.
Yeah, there's 100 different ways that there could be problems that could be causing something like this, and so that's
Exactly.
Go through each of those things and see if it works in private in incognito mode. Then again, it's something that everything comes back to permissions.
But I mean, how important is this information really? Could you just find it somewhere else or do something else with it?
Well,
is this a file that you're constantly updating, or how tough do we have to find more work around here?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think getting access to the information, he clearly indicates he's able to open it on his other computer and get to it. So what's the problem? What are you complaining about? You got it on that other laptop. Just carry 2 devices with you wherever you go.
It's just my annual review. I look at it once a year. How important is this?
But I mean, it's a good question. I understand, why it would not open. I've had that experience where it's not opened in one location, and it usually has to do with the permissions of where I've logged into that how I'm accessing that file, the location of where I'm trying to access that file. All right, number 9, Mike says, I typically set up a default user for each tenant I set up, which is a global admin and does not have an Office 365 license, like Mike at company1.com. Is there a way without adding a license to it to be able to accept email at that address and forward it within or outside the domain? I banged my head on this a while ago unsuccessfully because it is a user. You can't set up a distribution group with that name. You can't set up a contact or alias either, at least not in my experience.
I'm not aware of how we could possibly get around that. I mean, if you want to use email, that's what got the license.
Right, you can set up a DL. You can set that up so that but if it's a person, you can have a name. Yeah, there's going to be that restriction, and you have the license. You can have the minimum license for that. And there's a lot of organizations that will juggle license types and have the least expensive to have those basic capabilities for scenarios like this. So you don't need to go pay for an E3 or an E5 license. You can do it inexpensively. Or pull it out of the name of the individual and create a distribution group. Anything else to add on that? We had Riz disappear on us.
No.
Now I feel like with the together mode, we're sitting in like an empty auditorium. The teacher's not showing up for class. It's been 17 minutes, so we're past the 15-minute rule, which is where we're allowed to leave, kind of thing. But I guess.
Well, no one's keeping you here.
Well, this is just like I was going to say this is an accurate representation in a COVID world here. We've got this. Well, actually, Sean, you and I are sitting close together. You need to move down one row forward so that we're spaced. Hey, by the way, went to see a movie. So with two of my sons and my son and my daughter-in-law went and saw Tenet on Saturday night. So we I got tired of the dog barking every 5 minutes at the door of kids coming to the door. Turn out the lights. We're not home. Close the curtains. The dog barking. No, we went and saw a movie. So, they limited the spacing of buying the tickets we bought through the app. And so we had in the luxury seats, which already have, the recliners, and there's already separation more than 6 feet from people in front and below and behind us. But my son and his wife bought in the middle section. My other son, he had to buy 3 seats away, the other side of this row, and I was the far side of the right. And of course, they say, and do not move away from your assigned seat. And we went right to the 4 seats in the middle because we had the entire row to ourselves. Nobody else could buy those tickets. But saw that movie. Have you seen that yet? Tenet.
Not yet.
I doubt I will.
It was described to me. So when it comes out, digitally, it was described as similar to what is it? It's my mind just went blank. I went to another unrelated movie on it. But anyway, it's a. I'll just say that in my opinion, the acting was not always great. But it was a very entertaining original movie as a sci-fi thriller, confusing because they're talking about the concept of entropy, which just is confusing to most people in the first place. But reversing entropy and time travel, and it's pretty fascinating. So it was described as being kind of a sister movie to Inception.
Mm-hmm. Who's in it?
So it has Robert Pattinson, and then a bunch of nobodies. It has the guy that was he's not a major character. That was the lead in Yesterday, the Beatles movie. But he's got an American accent in this. But Robert Pattinson, who of course is the new Batman, and it's funny in the family chat afterwards, people said, "Oh, and it has Robert Pattinson." I said, "Yeah, it doesn't do it for me." And then I did hashtag TeamJacob. So we had that dialogue going on in the family. But yeah, anyway. But entertaining movie if you're able to go and see it, or once it's available through one of the streams.
So it'll be on my Plex server.
Sounds like a plan.
Yep. Let's see. Yeah, anything new of on the Plex server, Sean? Anything exciting? I've not looked in a while.
Not after I bought the last mega
batch
load of movies. Yeah. Problem is, we don't even get through them. My kids want to watch the same things over and over again. It's like they want to. My daughter wanted to watch The Simpsons movie Friday night, and my wife and I are both like, ugh. So we didn't watch that, but we did end up watching Doctor Strange again. So
I have to say, I know this
like
is
that.
unrelated to that the movie watching, but you just made me think of. I think my favorite ride at Disney World was the Simpsons ride.
Oh yeah.
Very entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about? Did you go on that one?
I don't know.
You get into the car, you get like a dozen people in there, and the roof like opens up, and then it's just a huge screen. It's like and so you're watching kind of a movie thing, but the floor moves as you're moving around. It's a fantastic ride, though.
Mm-hmm. No, I've not been on it.
All right. Well, so let's jump to number 10. So some of this, like, again, we have, and this comes from the Microsoft Teams. So this is all Teams related. Naveed says, why are some users facing sign-in problems, showing the message, sorry, we were having trouble signing you in. Please try again later. We've talked about this previously, about this...
about sign-in problems in general.
Yeah. And there could be a number of things that are happening on the network or with the environment, and to refresh and try again.
I know that a handful of tenants, probably the backing hardware for those, had issues over the last several weeks, customer facing. But
Yeah, they've got a couple of failures in Azure on those 65 services over the last month or so. It's been intermittent and fairly short, but yeah. And you'll get in. You wait a little while, you do get in.
Yeah.
keep trying to be.
Yeah, I think this is just one of those. It's a live service, and there's a number of factors that are going on, and so yeah, you give it a little time. I think that's the major change for a lot of people, that they're experiencing some of these issues, as we talked about earlier. The record button, disappearing from meetings that I created, and log out, log back in, and there it is. And so they're constantly making updates, and I'm on a fast ring, so I'm getting updates, as they happen.
I've heard that about you.
Yes. Yeah. So I don't have anything else to add other than give it a little time. Any live service like that, give it a little bit of time, and it'll start working again.
Yeah, the game plan is, wait as long as you possibly can. If you're convinced it's something more than that, or you just want reassurance, you can always open a support ticket.
Yeah.
Or your admin can do that for you if you're not an admin.
Yeah.
They have the power.
Well, and one of the first things you always look to as well, if something is, before you ask the question, is it me, is it you, Microsoft, or is it me, is to see if there's a service outage. So, if I have a problem that persists, I try to log it a couple times, I'm not able to get into whatever the environment, I then go to admin console and look and see, oh, hey, this service, something is failing right now. So,
provided you can authenticate to the admin console.
Correct.
Yeah, but I agree with you.
Number 11, Julie says, help when joining as a guest account to join an external call. How can I share my screen? There's no option. How do you share your
You
screen?
have to be part of the team.
Yeah, you have the ability to allow, as the admin, to allow who can share and who doesn't share, and so that might be turned off.
Or it might be a transient issue with a particular Teams client. There's heavy churn with the Teams clients right now. Features drop in and out almost regularly. So,
What does any of that have to do with the homeless population, Sean? I don't understand.
or the tea they're drinking from China.
Transient issue, Eric. I was making a joke. It's a play on words, because transient means sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. It also can refer to homeless people, Eric.
Well, Christian, as they say about jokes, if you're going to make one, you should make it. John, that's another way of saying that it wasn't a funny joke. It didn't come across as a joke.
Ah!
It is for, yes.
That was good. That is a total of 3 jokes for today. We're doing well. Congrats. Brava.
Golf claps.
All right. Okay. Yeah. So Julie, I think it's as simple as that. Is that whoever established that, set up that team, that group, they may not have. That'd be the first place I would check to see if that team owner has enabled for those meetings for guests to share. Or who has created that meeting, whether they've enabled that. So admins have control over that capability. If the answer is yes to both of those and you're still unable to do that, another issue is that you might be, your guest account, you might be logging in, trying to log into that meeting through a different guest account. And so you need to go up to the tenant switcher and try to rejoin to that meeting from the correct guest account.
That's good.
So that's probably, I'm assuming yes on the admin has said yes in both places, you're not able to see it, is because like I have my Collab Talk tenant, and if I join a meeting that's happening over in the Microsoft Community tenant, I know that's a slightly different thing, but as a guest, that I won't have the same capabilities as if I would go and switch in my desktop client over to that Microsoft Community tenant and then join the meeting. So it does prompt you and ask when you're joining a meeting, do you want to join or switch tenants? So that's now, that wasn't there initially, that has been the last few months. Microsoft updated that and to help with that process for specifically this scenario. All right. Philip says, this is number 12. So has access to a team with an external tenant. I can log in there, but it does not appear in the multi-tenant list in the desktop app. So I can't switch it to it in the app. Is there a workaround to add more tenants? Can anyone help? I can log in there.
Another case where I have to confirm, he says he can't switch to it. Is he signing out and signing in with the
user ID now?
Yeah, the alternate credential set. Because you'll only get access in the app. The only tenants and teams that are going to show up, rather teams that are going to show up are ones that are tied to that specific UPN or email address that you log in with. If you're accessing an external tenant and you've got a different address, email address, you need to log in with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Because if I'm trying to log in, if I've been given access to Sean, to your tenant as an external user, and you send that invite to me, my Collab Talk email, then that then should show your tenant in my drop-down environment list, and I should be able to click on that and switch over. And so if in this scenario, if this is I've not changed my login to team, I'm logging in as Collab Talk, and you've invited me and I'm able to go directly like through the browser and as an external user log in with my Collab Talk into your tenant. But now in the desktop application, this is how I read this question. In the desktop application, it's still not showing up in that list. The only time I've seen that specific scenario the way I've just described it, by logging out of Teams, refreshing the desktop application, force refreshing it, then it appeared. If I did it and joined and I was not seeing it within that dropdown, it wasn't until I rebooted my system, which forced it, or went down into the application, the tray in Windows in the bottom right, shut Teams down entirely, and then restarted it, logged back in, then it populated in that drop-down list.
Yeah, I read it as the other situation, which is he's got different account credentials because it says I can log in there,
right?
Which seems to suggest that it's a different ID. In which case, you'll need to be logged into the desktop app with that ID as well.
Yeah, and that scenario is that, so we have the community tenant that Microsoft provides. So I have a separate email address and login with password to that other tenant. So I have to log out completely, log in completely into that other environment. And then as I get invited into, if I were invited, I've not been into that in this scenario, but if I were invited into other teams for other external teams with that Microsoft Community Tenant ID, I would see it in that dropdown.
So if he's using a mobile device, this is something that the mobile device actually handles really well.
Yeah.
The desktop doesn't. So try it there. See if everything's loading correctly there. And then, because if it's loading correctly there, it's not your credentials. Check that. If it's loading well there, then work it backwards. If it isn't loading there, I go back and figure out your credential issue.
Yeah, if it's showing up, that's a great point. If you showing up in the mobile app, which does a great job switching between multiple profiles, multiple tenants, guest environments, like it's fantastic that way. And you've refreshed Teams in the desktop and it's still not showing up there, might be worthy of a ticket. You go and post that. Also share that scenario out on the Microsoft tech community and see if you get any responses there, if anybody else is experiencing that issue. Yeah, sometimes that's it's a punt from us on answering the question around that, but it's a valid reason to go and open up a support ticket. Always do your research, see if it's been discussed. I would also go and check, not in this scenario, but because I think this is either, if what we've just discussed doesn't correct it, then it's a support ticket. But in other scenarios, to also go and search on issues that you have out on user voice to see there may already be a movement behind a solution to a problem that you're experiencing. So definitely do your homework. Microsoft might be slow to respond if they've already answered it a dozen times and it's out in user voice and there's hundreds or thousands of votes for a solution. So
I can tell you that the fact that the mobile app works so well and the browser or the Teams desktop tenant does not is a well-known, hotly debated issue within the Teams team. And thank you for your feedback. That's great feedback. We'll take that as a great part of incorporating that into the desktop.
I just took
Don't
my
hold your breath though, Phil. We've been trying for this one for years, literally.
Yes.
A significant number of them to get federation or some form of rapid ID switching to the desktop app.
Yeah.
And they keep saying it's coming.
Yeah, they're well aware of this issue. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, Christmas 2024 is also coming.
It's right around the corner.
True.
I know. It's going to happen.
The end of days is coming.
That's right. Let's see. Number 13. And we might end on lucky number 13. Corey asks, I would like to sync two folders in different Teams groups so that the files and the subfolders will be automatically updated. If possible, I would like that files that are deleted in one folder will be deleted from the other as well. Complete synchronization. Instantly. If there's half a second in between them, I don't want that. No, I just added that. Yeah. Any advice on how to create such automation?
They've got third-party products for that. You're looking for a very specialized synchronization solution with cascading deletes.
Well,
that's not supported currently.
But I guess the difference is the question for the default folder structure to be the same within two teams, or that you just want to have a shared folder system, because you could go and create a standalone SharePoint team and then have that as in the tabs and in the files structure within those two Microsoft Teams, so you can have that in both places. I always refer to this scenario, having built project management organizations, PMOs, for a number of organizations, and this concept of having that center of excellence around project management, where all of our methodology, all of our documentation, all of the templates are in one place, and then adding that tab and that within the files structure within multiple teams, always having access to that PMO tab and folder within files. So that's a way that, so then you are literally, it's not a synchronization and not needed a third-party tool to do that. It's just accessing one folder structure. But if you're looking to do that as the default files within two teams, I'm not aware of any third-party solution that'll solve that.
Neither do I, Christian.
I don't know. Sean looks like he's about to either sneeze or say something.
No, I'm trying to think. I know there's.
Is it hard to think, Sean?
Some days, yes. I know that there are solutions that let you go back and forth between document libraries, which conceptually can be brought to bear on this. You know, if you want to build it yourself, you could write something in Power Automate as well, but the situation with cascading deletes and whatnot, you better, if you're going to implement that, you better make sure your logic is very, very solid, or uses the recycle bin very efficiently.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's not anything that is built in the product set as a feature. And I'm unaware of it coming or anything like it, just because it's not in my experience, that's not something that's commonly sought.
Yeah.
Is that your humble experience, Sean, or just your experience?
It's humble.
I agree.
If you call out your own humility, is it really humility?
Please allow myself to introduce myself. And on that note, I have to run, Jess.
We're done. Hey, everybody, thank you so much for joining this week. And as always, the recording is out there on YouTube. I will be adding later today a complete listing of an outline of every topic that we've covered with links to the timestamps within the video. And you'll be able to find that out on Buckley Planet as well. And I'll share those links with each of the locations. If you have any other questions you'd like us to try and handle today or throughout the week, or have us to cover next week's live stream, you can always email us at officehours@collabtalk.com. You can see it up at the top left corner of the live stream. And with that, gentlemen, thanks so much. And Mike that's not here, Neil who's on the road somewhere, and everybody else who said they were going to be here but weren't here. Stuff happens, people. But thanks for joining. Thanks a lot, guys, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, everyone.
Take it here.
And I'll kick off the music to fade us out.
Oh boy.
At least Christian can.
That's right.
Yeah.
See you, Lynn. See you guys.
Bye.